Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
The state of Minnesota is teaming up with a large nonprofit to cut the state's hunger rate by 50%. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being with us on this Monday. I'm Brock Burgee. The Bold New Goal initiative from Second Harvest Heartland puts Minnesota on a path to reduce hunger by the year 2030. First at 5, KTTC's Quinn Gorham explains how lawmakers, nonprofits, and corporations are working together toward this goal.
Hunger is on the rise. According to Second Harvest Heartland CEO Allison O'Toole, food shelf visits have doubled since 2021, and they're breaking visit records regularly. Still, it's a trend they hope to not only slow down, but reverse entirely by the end of the decade. Second Harvest Heartland announced their Make Hunger History Plan on Monday, a self-ascribed bold goal to cut hunger in half by 2030. Backed by bipartisan lawmakers and the governor's office, there's a chance the initiative could drive major policy decisions in the state legislature. O'Toole says they'd like to reach $150 to $200 million over the next 4 to 5 years to meet that goal. While O'Toole is hoping to secure sustained funding for state food banks, she says policy is just as important.
We're going to work with other organizations to make sure we're getting at the root causes of this issue. Transportation, housing, some of those other anti-poverty issues. We have to work together in a different way.
Monday, Minnesota-based corporations Cargill and Target each announced a $10 million donation to get the ball rolling. In November, Second Harvest Heartland received a $5 million funding boost from the state, money they say has already been used up. To reach their goal by 2030 will likely require a lot of effort, but the governor's office believes they're already part of the way there, with programs like the new Free School Meals program and the new Child Tax Credit already making an impact. Reporting in St. Paul, I'm Quinn Gorham.
Second Harvest Heartland says Minnesotans visited food shelves a record 7.5 million times last year. An injury crash in Dodge County remains under investigation at this hour. It involved a semi and an SUV. According to the State Patrol, this all happened just before 11 this morning on Highway 56 at 750th Street in Hayfield Township. No word on what led up to the collision or the extent of any injuries. Mayo 1 responded to the scene. The driver of the SUV is a 77-year-old man from Rochester. The driver of the semi is a 61-year-old man from St. Charles. Neither man's name is being released at this time. State Patrol is expected to release an update for us tonight at around 10 o'clock. Meteorologist Sarah Gannon joining us now live from the weather patio. And Sarah, something we have been missing the past few days finally graced us with its presence. The sunshine returned today.
Hey there, Brock. Yes, when I came out this afternoon and just saw the sunshine, I kind of did a little happy dance because I was so excited. I've been waiting for that sunshine all weekend long after how cloudy and foggy it was last week. Very excited for that sunshine, and I hope you at home have been able to get out and kind of soak up a little bit of that warmth across the area today. And boy, was it warm, well above average, even warmer than what originally we forecasted for. So many of us climbing into those 40s, even 50s for high temperatures today across the region, and potentially some record-breaking temps in some locations this evening. Overall, things are quiet out there right now as we check in with your Lewis Notto live camera right here from Signal Hill. You can see the last few rays of that sunshine out there this evening before that sun officially sets here. We are currently sitting at 44 degrees in the Rochester area-wide. Those temperatures sitting into the mid and upper 40s. So a very warm, mild Monday afternoon here for the region. Winds have been slowly picking up out of the west, currently seeing wind speeds about 10 to 15 miles per hour. As we look outside, many of us seeing pretty looking to see that cloud cover building back in here for this evening. However, we're watching a quick little passing wave of energy that could potentially bring a little bit of some drizzle, some stray snowflakes to the area. However, confidence not very high that we'll see this activity actually make it to the ground, but still keeping that possibility open here for the area that we may see a couple stray raindrops or a snowflake later on tonight. Overall, expected to see some cloudy conditions roll back in here for tonight. Temperatures continuing to stay mild in those 30s. More warmth and sunshine ahead here in the upcoming week. We'll track out those forecast details for you coming up in your First Alert weather. Brock?
Appreciate it, Sarah. Thank you so much. Typically, when a tree comes down, there's not much of a news hook. However, tonight we share a tale of two walnut trees with a meaningful backstory. Our Eric Min explains for us tonight at 5 from Wabasha.
Hi Brock, I'm in Wabasha right now, and right behind me are 2 walnut trees that are being cut. One of them is 79 years old, and the other one is about 100 years old. The 79-year-old one was planted by a tree farmer who is 86 years old by the name of Tom Gossi. He planted this tree when he was 7 years old. According to the tree farmer, the walnut tree logs can be used to make things such as furniture and pianos. He told me he especially plants walnut trees because the area he is in is good to grow them, and it is also profitable to do so.
Walnut trees are king. They always have been, and in the future they always will be. See, they are prized as to their potential for walnut flooring, cabinets, material used in the name of furniture.
Tom Gossi told me he enjoys planting and taking care of trees because of the benefits it brings to the environment and the community. In Wabasha, Eric Min, KTTC News.
Thank you, Eric. Gossi has planted and farmed 70 acres of black walnut trees at his farm near Tileman, Minnesota in Wabasha County. And stay tuned tonight at 6 to hear more from the tree farmer and see the action from his harvest. The city of Rochester is gearing up to put its money, you could say, where its mouth is after voters approved to up the city sales tax. That happened back in November. City leaders met today to give an update on the projects approved in the levy. Flood control and street reconstruction are among the plan, along with some new items on the table, like a massive regional sports complex and economic vitality also on the list. The city is getting creative to improve housing in the city as well. The plan eyes new home ownership opportunities and housing for those earning less than 50% of the median area income. Now, as far as that sports complex goes, the city plans on it being 75 to 90 acres in size. Parks and Rec hopes to purchase land in 2024, sometime this year, and breaking ground as early as late 2025. We have an update now on the man who confessed to stealing a pair of ruby slippers worn in the film The Wizard of Oz from a Minnesota museum. Today, a judge ruled the thief will not serve any jail time. That is because, there you see him, 76-year-old Terry John Martin is in poor health, and he is expected to actually die in a matter of months now. Martin appeared in Duluth federal court today. He previously pled guilty to stealing the famed slippers once worn by Judy Garland back in 2005 from the museum named in Garland's honor in the late actor's hometown of Grand Rapids. According to his attorneys, Martin had no idea about the cultural significance of those ruby slippers and had never even seen The Wizard of Oz. He says he wanted to, quote, pull off one last score, and he thought that the shoes were actually covered in real rubies. It is that time of year again. The Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, started accepting and processing 2023 federal income tax returns today. The deadline for filing for most of us is, of course, April 15th. However, if you miss that tax filing deadline, you will likely face a hefty penalty unless you ask for and are also granted an extension. Now, the IRS offers free filing options for some taxpayers who meet certain income levels. Find out if you qualify by checking out the web version of this story on KTTC.com. Still ahead for you here tonight on your news at 5. The White House is responding to a Jordan drone strike that killed and wounded American troops. Plus, a little bit later, emotional eating. Why do we do it? Why it can be bad for us, and how can we stop it? That's coming up in your Health Minute. And in your first alert forecast, we are soaking up the sun after several days of dreary, foggy weather. How long will the sunshine continue? Sarah joins us after the break. President Biden says the U.S. will respond to an overnight drone strike in northeast Jordan that killed 3 American troops and wounded dozens more. Let's bring in KTTC's White House correspondent John Decker for us. John, what option is the president considering? What options, I should say, and what are Republican lawmakers urging the president to do?
Brock, all options are on the table. We learned that today from the White House, from the Pentagon as well. The president has been meeting throughout the day with his national security advisors, trying to determine what the retaliatory strike is going to be by the U.S. military. We heard earlier today from the National Security Council spokesperson who indicated the U.S. does not want war with Iran, does not want to escalate what we're seeing happening in the Middle East with that war occurring between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. As it relates to Republicans, you have Republicans in both the House and the Senate that are urging the U.S. to take military action directly against Iran in Iran's sovereign territory. This is one of those tricky situations for the administration in the sense that they do want to send a powerful message to Iran. They don't want to escalate what we're seeing in the Middle East, and it's a real tricky balancing act for President Biden.
John, a follow-up now to a topic we discussed with you back here on Friday involving the civil case judgment for former President Donald Trump. Question today is, can Trump delay paying E. Jean Carroll the $83.3 million jury award that he owes her, or must he pay that judgment right away?
Well, as you know, former President Trump has indicated that he will be appealing that judgment, $83.3 million, that a jury has awarded to E. Jean Carroll. While those appeals go forward in the process, and it will be in the federal court system, Mr. Trump must pay that $83.3 million and put it in an escrow account to the federal court system in New York, or he can have a bond, which would essentially be about 20% of that $83.3 million judgment, about $16 million that would suffice, assuming, of course, that a bank would put up that money and that he could assure the court that he has assets to back up the full amount. So for the time being, E. Jean Carroll, the plaintiff in this case, is not seeing the money that has been awarded to her. That's while the appeals process plays itself out, Brock. But it does not mean that Donald Trump does not have to write a check while the appeals process plays itself through the process.
As always, we appreciate you breaking it down for us. KTTC White House correspondent John Decker reporting for us in Washington. Thanks, John. JetBlue Airways, I should say, might be backing out of a deal to acquire Spirit Airlines. Now, all of this last week happened as JetBlue said it might reverse out of a $3.8 billion acquisition of Spirit Airlines after a federal judge blocked the deal. The announcement came just a week after JetBlue and Spirit said that they would appeal the decision. JetBlue said the deal could be terminated after Sunday if certain conditions were not met. Spirit said in its own filing that it disagreed with JetBlue and believed, quote, there is no basis for terminating the deal. 5 years in prison, that is the sentence for the man who stole and leaked the tax records of former President Donald Trump and thousands of other prominent people. Charles Littlejohn pleaded guilty to a single count of unauthorized disclosures of income tax returns in October. According to the 38-year-old's plea agreement, Littlejohn took the financial data while he was employed at a consulting firm that had contracts with the IRS. The information was then leaked to 2 news outlets before it was deleted from his IRS laptop computer. The 5-year maximum sentence penalty, 5 years was the maximum penalty for this and what prosecutors had actually requested.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist Sarah Gannon.
Well, that snow, boy, sure is disappearing out there with the sun, especially today.
I know, that snow pile just continues to melt and melt away. We practically have nothing left on the weather patio, but that sun, oh boy, I was so excited for that today.
You know, the temperatures the last few days haven't been bad, but boy, just to see the sun makes it feel so much warmer.
It does, yeah, and the cats finding the sunbeams around the house today. That certainly made them very happy too. So.
We got to keep the cats happy,
Exactly.
right? If there's nothing else, the cats.
Happy cat, happy house, right? You know. But yeah, we actually, with our warm temperatures, finally getting that sunshine out, losing that snowpack, we really saw those temperatures skyrocket across the area today. We set a new record high temperature for the Rochester area today. Our high temperature so far that we're seeing here, 46 degrees, and the record was 44 degrees. So back in 1944. So a lot of fours there, but certainly some warmth out there across the region as we continue to see those warm temperatures continuing across the area this evening. And and that will last into the next few days. So outside right now, we are looking at our temperatures still sitting into those low to mid 40s for the area. Currently 44 in Rochester, 45 in Preston, 48 still in the Austin area, 46 in Albert Lee and Austin, Charles City at 45. Same for Winona. Area wide, we continue to see a little bit more of that sunshine. Just those last few rays on the horizon here as we check in with your Lewis Donato live camera network. As you can see, though, cloud cover is starting to fill back in. Notice towards Austin, starting to see that cloud cover really starting to thicken up once again. And we're watching a quick little passing wave of some energy here passing through. We may see a couple stray sprinkles, maybe a stray snowflake, but I think many of us will miss out on this opportunity. I really haven't seen much for confirmation of this activity actually making it to the ground. But still, that means cloud cover will build back in for the area tonight, and we'll look at that potential there for just kind of a stray shower, stray sprinkle to pass through the area as we head into this evening. Otherwise, aside from this activity, we're looking pretty quiet throughout the next upcoming week. So tonight, that will be our main focus here, keeping an eye on that chance for that stray drizzle, that stray flurry possible. But otherwise, when it comes to snow chances, it's looking pretty obsolete for the area as we head into the start of February. Conditions looking to stay rather dry. But what will continue for the area is those well above average temperatures. So as I mentioned, maybe that stray chance there for some drizzle, a couple snowflakes that may linger into tomorrow morning. But again, I think a lot of us dodging that chance here for tonight. Otherwise, our weather pattern staying pretty dry as we look ahead into the upcoming week. Timing things out here for the rest of this evening. That wave of energy, those couple sprinkles passing us by as we head into the evening hours. Clouds do stay, though. Maybe a random stray flurry possible there tomorrow morning, but otherwise, it's conditions looking pretty dry. Cloudy, though, as we roll into Tuesday afternoon. Those high temps, though, staying well above average again. As we head into Wednesday, temperatures looking to skyrocket once again for the area. We continue to track those well above average temperatures here for the area, and the upcoming week will look to stay mainly into those 30s and even 40s possible here the next few days throughout Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, potentially even into the weekend. Looking to see temps in the area into those low to mid 40s. And our temperature trend here the next several days, as I mentioned, well above average. Many of us looking to stay about 15 to 20, even 25 degrees above average. So a lot of warmth happening here across southeast Minnesota and northeast Iowa in the next few days. Tonight, though, we stay pretty quiet. Winds will start to pick up out of the northwest about 15 to 25 miles per hour. Temperatures staying mild tonight into those low 30s with those cloudy conditions. Heading into tomorrow, I think a lot of us really dodging that chance for sunshine, looking to stay mainly cloudy here for the area with temperatures there into those mid 30s. So as we look ahead then with that 7-day forecast, wowza, quite the forecast we are tracking. Dry, we'll get more sunshine here in the coming days, so that will feel mighty nice. But check out those temperatures, Brock. I mean, we'll go from 30s, mid 30s there for highs Tuesday, 37 here in the Rochester area. 46 is our projected high by Wednesday, and we'll just continue to stay warm. So the snowpack, whatever last little bit we have, it's going to be gone.
Looking at that extended forecast, if you didn't know the calendar, you would not know it was the end of January, first part of February coming up.
I know. And our average high this time of the year is 23 degrees.
So double.
Yes.
All right. Sarah, thank you. We're going to check in now with Caitlin. She has a preview of your 6 o'clock news. Caitlin?
Yeah, guys, Rochester police are reporting 3 burglaries in the city over the weekend. The crimes are bringing with them some important reminders for homeowners. So we'll have that story coming up on KTTC News at 6. Brock will be right back.
Now, we speak with family members of hostages in Gaza as the framework for a truce and a hostage release takes shape. Plus, convicted killer Alex Murdaugh back in court. Could one of the jurors prompt the judge to order a new trial? Ahead on Nightly News.
It is a way of dealing with de-stressing our feelings. Instead of simply satisfying hunger, emotional eating is quite common here in the United States, and it's linked to weight gain, even obesity over time, according to a study published by the National Institutes of Health. In tonight's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has ways to recognize and avoid eating your feelings away.
The cravings can come when you're sad or stressed. You want something salty or maybe sweet. The food can bring comfort, but also extra calories.
Emotional eating tends to be very specific. You are hungry for cookies. You are not hungry for anything that somebody would put in front of you.
Psychologist Leslie Heinberg with Cleveland Clinic says when people try to eat feelings away, it's only a temporary fix.
the problem is still there, but people might feel guilty or feel bad about how much they ate or what they ate.
Heinberg says true hunger doesn't go away. It gets worse over time. You may feel shaky or have a grumbling stomach. If you suspect emotional eating, she says to distract yourself for 20 minutes, take a shower, or go for a walk. Do any activity that won't allow you to eat.
If you're still hungry at the end of that 20 minutes, then maybe, identify a healthier snack. But for lots of people, what they find is if they can distract themselves, 20 minutes later, that craving has really passed.
And if you do indulge, Heinberg says, enjoy it. Don't just scarf it down. Eating just a small amount of the food you desire may eliminate the craving. And she says not to beat yourself up about it.
Don't try to make up for it by skipping dinner and then setting yourself to be hungry and irritable later.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Heinberg says it is also helpful to have healthy snacks on hand that are easy to turn to when you really do face a feeling that triggers a craving for that comfort food. A new study suggests Alzheimer's disease may be transmissible in certain very rare circumstances. It found early onset dementia symptoms in 5 adults may be connected to a now discontinued human growth hormone medical treatment they received decades ago as children. The 5 adults had growth hormone deficiency as kids and received pituitary growth hormones prepared in a specific way from cadavers. The study provides the first reported evidence of medically acquired Alzheimer's disease in living people. The findings do not suggest Alzheimer's is contagious, however, or that it spreads like viral or bacterial infections. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So capybaras from 5 zoos in Japan competed this weekend to see who could bathe the longest, or at least stay in the water the longest.
Let's take a look at this. So the event took place for the 12th time at a zoo in central Japan. There you see the animal. So it's a larger rodent is how they classify them. It involved capybara from the zoo and rivals from a handful of other zoos. The zookeepers recorded the time. Each contestant entered a hot bath and then got out. So the winner was a 10-year-old male from the Nagasaki Biopark in the southwestern part of Japan. Sarah stayed in the bath for 2 hours, 53 minutes, and 57 seconds.
Oh my gosh, wow.
What do you think?
They kind of look like little beaver kind of thingies.
That's a good comparison.
I don't know, like kind of like, I don't know how to describe it.
They were enjoying the hot tub, right?
Cool.
Thanks for being